All right. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why you only need 1,000 people in a specific market to get exclusive listings and dominate your market. It's almost like a franchise system, and that's what I'm going to show you. So what we're looking at here, this is Bob Knakal. I worked with Bob when I started my career many years ago, and this was a very system that Bob and I worked on together when I was working with him. I worked with him, Bob, for many years. I built out this whole website strategy for Bob. And you can see here, if you look at it, you can see each one of these maps on the wall here is a different market. And this is how we built, originally Massey Napa Realty, which Bob ended up selling for 100 million. And it's all based on breaking everything down by specific markets. Now, each broker would work one market. So you can do this on a nationwide basis. It doesn't matter what property type. It doesn't matter whether you're residential. It doesn't matter whether you're commercial. It's really interesting how it works, because what it does is you start to work a specific market. You become the expert in your market. And that's what this website, when I put this website together with Bob, this was based on the proof stacking strategy. And Bob's like, well, what the heck is the proof stacking strategy? And I'm like, Bob, it's what you've been doing all these years. It's a combination of focusing on a very specific market, demonstrating your expertise with market reports and success stories and the media. That is what worked. That is what produced these amazing results. So you can do this exact same formula in your market. And that's what this is what Bob is demonstrating here. He's demonstrating his market expertise. Now, what he did, Bob used to work a little tiny little market like this. And then what he did is, over the years, he started to expand. And today, this map here, what you're looking at, the table here, it's called the Knakal Map Room. You can do a search online. You can check it out. This is what's called the Knakal Map Room. And what Bob did was he took all these maps and he put the whole map of like New York City together. And today he doesn't go after everything. He only goes after development sites. So when you look, and you can see all the, on the map, you can see all those Post-it notes and different color codings. Those are different development sites. And that's all he focuses on. So he only focuses on about 1,000 owners, maybe 1,200 owners that he regularly stays in front of. Now, the internet gives him a much broader reach. So he's able to attract deals from all over the place, because the people that are in his market that he keeps cultivating and staying in front of all the time, they become his sales force, right? They have their partners on deals. They talk to him about different opportunities. He gets leads from the people in his exact market. So he's able to expand outside of his actual market. And so anyway, that, I wanted to tell you about what most brokers think is that you've got to go wide, that you have to go after, you have to be like this celebrity and go real wide and go all over the place. And that just doesn't work. It's a very, very difficult, it's the idea of cultivating, let me just go over, I want to show you something here, and, let's go over here and let's go over to Tomato Garden. All right. And Tomato Garden. Let's go over and look at this. So if we go over here and you look at, right. So, like this is a really good one right here. Look at this image right here. Somebody's focusing on just 4 tomatoes, right? You're focusing on a little tomato garden. And that's the concept here. When you focus on a very specific patch, it's manageable. You can become the expert. You know how much sun these tomatoes need. You know the fertilizer. You know how much water they need. You are an expert in that particular market. So you're cultivating a small space. Whereas, if you look at this right here, a farm, right? Look at a farm. I mean, you want to try and cultivate something like this. This is most brokers right here. They're going after something like this, a big farm. You need equipment, you need labor, you need a big expense. It doesn't work. If you don't have this kind of capability, if you don't have the financial wherewithal and the people to work with you, you're not going to be able to cultivate a farm. You're not going to be able to do it. The farm is going to die. Everything's going to die. Whereas if you go back over here to our tomato garden, this is, look at this here. It's a sort of, look at the tomatoes. These are, these are great tomatoes, right? Everyone, look at these. These are great tomatoes. And that's the idea behind this, this is like a franchise system. This is a franchise model. If you follow this, I've done it for many, many years. I sold tons of buildings, and I had a lot of, by the way, I'm Ed Winslow. If you don't know me, I didn't introduce myself in the beginning, but this is the concept. Okay. So let's look at a couple different things. Now, if you go back over here, when I started with Bob, this is what we created, right? We created these little, and these are the little newsletters. You can go over to the site, bobknakal.com, and go over to writings if you want. And you can look and see, we took all these newsletters. This is where we started, right? These are the kind of little, this is what we were doing in the beginning. This worked. It will work today. But today we have all these internet assets. We've got websites, we've got email, we've got search engine optimization, we've got press releases, we've got so many tools that we didn't have. And we were doing, I had years where I did 7 figures in commissions with an old school strategy like this. This would still work today, but today it's a lot easier. But the thing is that when you have this kind of visibility, when you're demonstrating your expertise, this is what works. But you can't do it, broad and wide like with a farm. You have to be focused on that tomato. That's what's worked for us. Now, I'm going to, and what we're going to be doing is, this is BKREA. This is the firm that Bob built, and Bob and I have been working on building out his internet strategy for a few years now. And, it's the results have been amazing. So much inbound business, people doing searches, finding his information online, calling him. They're pre-sold. Now you could do the exact same thing, and I'm going to show you in a second, but we're going to get into this. You're going to learn. I'm going to take over a series of videos, for a long time. We're going to be talking about what went into the site. To most people, this is just a website, right? They don't see it. They don't see what it is. But, we have a very clear message. We have all kinds of sales hooks everywhere, right? And it's all about, you can see today, his primary focus is on development sites, property conversions, and user buildings. Not really these 3 here, but we've got them here. Many of these kind of buildings, when he gets a lead, he refers them to somebody else. He does not take these listings anymore. Now, so he's selling nothing but development sites, which are small buildings. They end up looking big because somebody buys the property and they build it out. But again, you can do this in your market too. And there's a lot of, there's so much conversion opportunity today. There's so much opportunity in real estate, only if you focus. And that's my experience. Now, we're going to be getting into why we created this information right here, right? These are all sales hooks. There's a reason why we do things in 3s. These are all, each one is a very unique hook. And I'm going to get into why we did this. But I wanted to just show you this site right here. Now, let's go over, and I'm going to shut these down here. Now, I'm going to go over and show you Seraphin, Joe Seraphin. Look at his website. Same exact model, right? Success stories, market insights. That's really it. Listings, insights, success stories. And, you may have seen that we just did a press release for Joe and his firm. I think if I go over here and do a search for, let's see, what is it? It's like, let's see, Equestrian Center. I think this is what it was. Let me see if this is coming up. If I go over here, this tab here is Google Maps, or I'm sorry, it's Google News. And you can see right here, we did this press release for him yesterday. This is an amazing strategy because this is pulling in business. So he's able to now, Joe is able to, he's able to show owners of land how he can market their properties with press releases, and he's beating out other brokers in their presentations. This is an amazing strategy. There's so much money you can make. All you got to do is follow this strategy. Anyway, you can see, I'll just show you real quick what it looks like. And it's sort of neat. Here's the press release, right? But the thing is, what's really neat is that this is appearing on Google News. And we launched this like 2 days ago and went live within 12 hours. And this is reaching equestrian buyers who set up Google alerts. And this is he's finding buyers for his property, and it's attracting sellers of property who are seeing this and saying, hey, can you sell my property? He's getting inbound calls. You know how hard it is to get those kind of leads, trying to make phone calls? Woo, very, very difficult. He's got people calling him who are already pre-sold. That's what this strategy does. But you can only do this if you focus on very specific markets like the tomato garden versus the farm. Now, I will tell you that this is sort of exciting too, is that what happens is that, if we go back and look at Seraphin Property, and let's go over here and let's look at his success stories. What Joe has done is he has developed a niche selling, a lot of school buildings, right? You can see here's one up here on the right. Here's another school building here. Here's another school building here. Here's another early education building here. So he's selling, like you see the same thing. So he's selling industrial buildings. He's selling early education. But now what we've been able to do working with Joe is help him open up the land market selling. So what we've done is we've used this strategy to open up the market. So even though you're focusing, on your tomato garden, it doesn't mean that that's all you're going to end up doing your entire life. It's where you cultivate your garden. Everything, like I said, with the tomatoes start to grow. They start to get bigger. They start to get better, and they start to attract people. And so anyway, let's go over. I want to show you Jennings. So this is another one. Same strategy, very, very focused on a very, very specific market. This is the law of 1,000. Again, look at the kind of properties that they're doing, right? They're doing industrial deals, selling industrial properties in primarily Western Massachusetts, in the Springfield, Massachusetts area. Not, who would think, right? And look at the deals he's doing. Amazing deals. They're cultivating an amazing market by focusing on a very, very specific market. And this is what you do. This is how you demonstrate your expertise in down below, right? If you click down below, you're going to see there's a couple links, right? We have a school group, and we also have a workbook that is a physical workbook. And if you see right here, right, this is the physical workbook, and it's got a ton of pages, but it goes through the entire formula, and you can leave it on your desk and you can scroll back and forth. We get into the words to use. We show you success stories, how to use success stories, what the exact SEO strategy is for a success story, how to create market reports, how to create newsletters, right? We talk about the consumer, right? The consumer, what are the objections that people have and how to overcome those objections. When you know how to do that, again, let me see if I have it here somewhere on my desk, but we have a whole guide, and this is in our school group. This guide right here, this is a handout that I created. And you can use this to get listings. You just hand this, and it goes through the whole press release thing and how to use press releases to get your business. But it really comes back to that same thing. You need to show that expertise, because that's what people are going to look at. They're going to look at, when they see, like, let's go over here. Let's go over to this one right here. This is Dark Horse Realty down in Miami. So what we did was we worked with Christian down in Miami to cultivate a very, very specific market. And he did a phenomenal job here by defining his market, right? He knows that his market is really 15,000 to 30,000 square foot buildings in a very specific area, because those are the buildings where he can compete. He knows that there are 1,000 owners. The average owner owns 3 properties. So there's 3,000 buildings in his market amongst those 1,000 owners. And there probably are more that he's probably not even aware of, because some of these owners might own other buildings that he's not aware of in other, outside of his market. But this is really where he's focused. And if you look at the success stories, you can see what he's doing, right? It's all in the same area. Every single one of these is a model that we are teaching in our school group, in the exclusive listing pitch kit. And this is how it works. I'm telling you, it's a great system. I've done it. I've made a lot of money doing this. You can make a lot of money doing this yourself. Today I'm not doing brokerage. I've been there, done that. I did that for many, many years. I ended up owning properties. I ended up on the board of companies. And, and then, I started to build this, this strategy out to help brokers, residential and commercial brokers, on a nationwide basis. And, it's an amazing strategy. So, no matter where you are, what you do, I don't care if you're in, somewhere in Kentucky or Kansas or the panhandle of Florida, or you're in South Dakota or Maine or New Jersey. It doesn't matter where you are. There are little niche markets everywhere. And the biggest problem that people have is, like, there's so much real estate out there. Like, where do I go? And so what happens is that brokers end up chasing their tail, and they end up, they're just grabbing deals wherever they can. There's no consistency. And that's why people don't make money. But when you focus on one thing and you follow this model, you just got to do it. We've got the whole thing laid out here for you. It's a very, very simple model. You just got to do it. And when you do it, what happens is the business starts to work for you, right? The business starts to come in. People start contacting you, and it starts to eliminate the competition. When you start giving exclusive listing presentations, which we outline exactly how to give a presentation. Okay. We never mention the word exclusive listing. But anyway, so there's a whole step-by-step system there. There's nothing hard about this. But I wanted to share this information. I hope this is helpful to you. And, down below, click the link, join our school group. You're going to learn so much about how to make money in real estate. And no matter what you're selling, I don't care whether it's $500,000 homes or, $100 million properties and everything in between. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for your time, and I will see you in the next video.